Every shadow has a story. Every unexplained sound could be a link. I'm Tiffany, and for years I've used my skills as a paranormal investigator and psychic medium to do more than just record activity. I'm here to find the verifiable evidence and build a case. This is Beyond Logic with Tiffany, the place where we use intuition, technology, and empathy to look past the sensationalism, humanize the spirits we encounter, and put the pieces together. The dots are out there, and we're connecting them. You're listening to Beyond Logic with Tiffany. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Empress Sparkle, and she is honestly one of the most incredible people I've talked to. Her and I have just talked forever before we started this, and I really appreciate her taking the time to do so. But I found out some amazing things about herself, and she helped me recognize some things within myself, and I'm so appreciative. Oh, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, lovely. Thank you. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm elated right now. I'm on cloud nine.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, this has been awesome. So let's start by you explaining a little bit about who you are, if you'd like, or what you do, or anything that you'd like to share.
Yeah, so I'm Empress Sparkle. Oh, where do I start? I'm a paranormal investigator, a witch, clairvoyant, literally anything in the spiritual realm, paranormal realm. I'm involved in it somewhere, dispelling attachments and all sorts of things. I think that's the best way to explain it. I just love the spiritual realm. It's where I'm happy, it's where I'm comfortable.
Fair enough. I can understand that completely. So I guess I'll start with how did you know that you had a gift?
Oh, my first time knowing, I must have been, and I know this sounds crazy, and everyone's like, you can't have memories from a child. I have one of the best memories there is. Like, I can remember from 18 months old. Don't ask me why. Even my mum and my nan sit there shocked at how much I can remember. And the first one where I knew they weren't real, I must have been about 3 years old. And that was a spirit at my nan's house. Um, and they just went, she's an imaginary friend. And I was like, but she's not. She's passing me my toys. And that's when I realized that no one else could see her, but I could. Um, and I remember looking back on it now, and I back on it as an adult. But as a child, I just remember feeling like something must be different about myself, if that makes sense. I knew that this sort of differentiated me from other people. I didn't know how, but I just knew that differentiated me. And then at 6, it got worse, I would say, because I was seeing them everywhere, absolute everywhere. And I started going to church, and um, I was told that I got the devil in my head constantly because I could see what the church sees as demons. And obviously, I was like, but they just want my help. How do I help them? And I was like 6 years old, just wanting to help these spirits coming to me for help. And they were like, no, you've got the devil in your head. It's not right what you're doing. So I sort of around 6 to 10 shut it off a little bit. And then at 10, it just thumped back up. And I think this is the thing. I've always sort of known that I've had the gift. I've always known that I was different and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's the best way to explain.
Okay, so I'm trying not to disclose more than we've obviously talked. What tools do you use to help you with your gifts?
When I was younger, I didn't before I closed off, it was like they were everywhere. But now I do have to use tools for some spirits. Some spirits like to hide from me. I don't like them spirits because it usually means they're up to no good. So now I use a lot of pendulums. So I do love my pendulum. I do love my dowsing rods. My favorite, which you most probably guess, lovely, is my tarot. I am an expert at tarot. So they are sort of my favorite go-tos. Obviously, I have my spirit guides as well, but they can even sometimes hide from my spirit guides. So they won't even know they're there 100%. And that can make it a little bit difficult if I'm going in doing an attachment problem to a property or an attachment problem to a person and stuff like that, which is why sometimes if I'm going to do an attachment issue, I might be there for 3, 4 months until I actually catch anything or figure it out. Because they like to hide. You've got to find their trigger. You've got to find their trigger to pull them out. That sounds really nasty, don't it? I'm just going around triggering ghosts. Um, and this is the thing, it is a they so I do have to use some tools, but I'm glad I do have tools now and I've learned them because if I'm honest, if I was doing an attachment case, there'd be some struggles sometimes. But or if I'm going to a place like oh my goodness, Priest Cottage. We did Priest Cottage a couple of weeks ago. And when I did there, like only a few spirits would come out, but I could feel there was like loads. I could feel there were so many. So thanks to my tools, I managed to actually speak to some of them and stuff like that. But sometimes even the energies can just be overpowering. So you're not picking up quite who's there and stuff like that. So tools do really help. But the biggest tool I would say, if I'm honest, is myself. And that is because of the visions, because of the feeling of the energies and stuff like that.
All right, cool. So I know that when I explained it a little bit, I said that my confirmation is usually goosebumps. What is something, if you're okay with sharing that, it's like a, that's right, that's a confirmation for me.
So if it's there's a spirit and I can't see it, my third eye likes to tingle. It's got a
Okay.
little tingle button. It's like someone sort of stood there like that, sort of pressing a button on my third eye. The other one and I am blessed with this, I do get the goosebumps, but it's really strange. So whereas everyone says it's all over for them, it's only all over for me if it's a major positive thing. But if it's spiritual to do with ghosts, if it tingles up my left side, I know that's a negative spirit. So I have to get rid of it, have to deal with it, have to cha-ching it. If it tingles up my right side, I know it's someone that just needs passing over. They've just managed to get stuck here and stuff like that. So it's sort of like I'm really in tune with myself, so I'm a bit lucky that way. Um, and also intuition. So that's another thing as well. If I have a thought and I'm like, why would I even think that? Where's that come from? And it's not like intrusive thoughts. So everyone, I'm gonna
Mhm.
punch that person, them sort of thoughts that come in. Um, it's more of I don't know how to explain. So when you stood in a room and you just get this feeling you have to get up and go over to another corner. You don't know why you've got that feeling, but it's sort of like that, but it's in thought processes instead. So it might be like someone said to you, he did it over there. And you're like, why? How do I know he did it over there? How did I know that happened over there? Can you give me a bit more than that? So then I then expand on that with them. I'm like, can you give me a bit more than that? Can you explain that? And that's when it actually, for me, that then they'll give me another sign. It may be a knock, it may be they're talk to me, it may be they show me a vision. Um, Sometimes if they're really nasty, it's usually as if they're running towards me. That sort of behavior. They like doing that, the nasty ones. Don't know why.
More confirmation, I guess. Holy moly. Like we said earlier, everything happens for a reason, and I swear on everything I met you for a reason. Oh my goodness. You're just awesome. Oh, but now I just lost my train of thought. Oh, it's gone.
Badly.
Derailed. It's gone. There's no survivors. Do you use crystals at all? Do you do like crystal work or anything like that?
Oh, my crystals are my babies. They
Oh,
are my babies. I love crystals. I do energy cleansing as well. So I do a lot of Reiki with people and stuff like that. And I love my crystals. The one thing I suggest actually everyone has next to their desk, and if you
oh, I
watch
know.
Any selenite.
It's my
Oh.
favorite crystal. I love selenite. I have so much of it all over the place.
It is my best friend, honestly. I sit here like this, and it's like if I look down and it looks grey or black, I'm like, oh, what have we got? Oh, am I in a bad mood?
Love it.
Love crystals. And then I have my trusty bag as well, and all my altars have loads of crystals on there as well. Yeah, crystal mad.
That's awesome. I go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I know the sparklers are like this one, especially a bit of garnet for passion.
Oh, yeah, I love amethyst and I also love selenite. Those are my two like really big crystals that I'm very attached to. But I've also got, I think, black tourmaline somewhere. I don't know where my bag is. It's over on the counter somewhere. Like all of the protection. So I love it.
I love that. Selenite, purification, cleansing, etc. Amethyst, spiritual, but clarity at the same time. Love it. And black tourmaline, oh, one of the best protection crystals. Oh,
That
they
is
are the
fact.
best.
I have selenite on my bracelet.
Oh, love it.
I
Very
wear it
much.
every day. Love it.
Get that cleansing in.
I
Oh.
gotta try to keep this clear, man.
Uh, it's why I have one next to my desk. Like, and when I'm speaking to everyone that's like spiritual, it makes me laugh. Um, whenever we talk about it, it's like all of a sudden we're all picking up sticks of our selenite, and it's like, oh, okay, we all sit with selenite next to our desk, then, do we?
I have it all over my house. Like I carry it with me in my bag. I have it in my bedroom. It's all over the place.
It is a great crystal for protection and stuff like that. And cleansing and purifying. And it's one of the easiest crystals to actually work with, to be honest. Because it does cleanse it purifies itself. Not gonna use the term cleanse, I'm gonna use the term purifies. So all you've really got to do is put it in the moonlight. So it's
Hmm.
like you don't really actually have to do much with it. So it's one of my favorite things about it because it naturally does all that. It's like, and it's also named after the goddess Selene.
Oh, yeah, I did not know that. That I had no idea.
That's why it's a moon crystal.
Oh, that would make okay. But it also charges other crystals too. So I have like some of my crystals like on top of a slab of selenite, and that's what I amplify my crystals with sometimes when I feel I need a boost.
The same as the moon charges us.
Oh, I love the moon. I cannot sleep during like the first 3 days before a full moon, but then the night of the full moon, I'm out like a light. Like there's nothing holding me back.
It's strange actually how this is one of the things that I'm a nightmare for. So I mix paranormal, spiritual, and science. And people are sitting there going, yeah, well, you can't mix all three. And I go, hold on, should we discuss the full moon? And people are sitting there going, really? And I'm like, when I lived at 100 foot lower than what I am now to sea level, I says, I love the full moon. Absolutely loved it. But now I'm higher, so I'm closer to the moon. And obviously the moon controls our gravity center. It also controls our water, etc. in our bodies. I hate the full moon. I literally cannot stand it. I can't go out in it or anything. And people sit there and they look at me and they go, what? And I'm like, yeah, so when you get these castles and they're really haunted and they're on top of a hill and they're like closer to the full moon, I says, you need to remember that the reason why more activity happens in the full moon is because their gravitational center is off, as well as the fact of their, oh, what is it called? Water levels off. So if you're made from brick or concrete, especially because obviously they collect water even though we don't want them to and cause damp. Stuff like that. When you actually think about it, I says it all affects it. And they look at me and they're like, yeah, this is too much weirdness. And I'm like, that is where my brain goes. I'm like very scientific with it to try and explain to people. about crystals and that crystals and even yeah, I've gone on a bit of a ramble. Sorry, my lovely.
No, no, no. Yes, keep going because sorry. That's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to get into. Like I had a conversation a couple, gosh, probably one of my first few podcasts about how naturally forming crystals can affect paranormal activity. And, I never really thought about that until he said it. And I kind of took a dive into it for a little while, but there are some naturally forming crystals that can affect, I guess, paranormal activity, like I said, but also just like how the everything interacts around it because there's so much power in crystals. And it's amazing how many people don't believe in them, but literally sonograms are that's how they started was the vibrations of different crystals. Like it it's just ouch. I got so excited I kicked the table.
It's like the TV I'm looking at, the monitor now. It wouldn't
Yes.
work without clear quartz. It has clear quartz in it. Our phone has gold and clear quartz in it. When you actually think about it, the reason why I say that is because there's a bit of a competition whether gold's a crystal or a metal.
And
Some
now
people argue about that, but it's a metal. I will just say that. Um, our cameras, some of them still have crystals in them to be able to work them and stuff. So this is the thing that always amazes me when people go on about this. I'm like, well, our technology to work and get some of the energy needs crystal. When we think about lasers use diamond to be able to project through and stuff like that. So I can understand why that fascinates you and why you sort of talk about it because it is true. The sadness of it is we now live in a world where the spiritual realm doesn't matter anymore, where people, and I don't mean this rudely, where people now see it as it's something that we don't need to care about. One, we need to remember we're going there, for one. We're all going there. And number two, I think as well, what we need to remember is it deserves more respect. They're stronger than us. They are a lot stronger than us, and I will never deny that. A spirit is always, they've not got a meat suit to bloody stop them using all their power. Um, that's going to shock a lot of paranormal investigators, me saying that when they say, you need to take my energy. Believe me, they don't need your energy. Shove a couple of crystals in there, you'll see what happens. Um, or do it on a full moon, or in May. Oh God, I'm giving lots of secrets here. Or October, because there's actually two times a year that the dead can actually approach us more, which is May and October.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well,
Sorry, I'm blowing your mind, didn't I?
you really are. You are making my life align in ways I didn't know it was going to align. And holy cow. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is incredible. You are just, I'm so giddy right now. I don't even think I can explain it. Like, I'm just so like, oh gosh. Okay, this is fantastic. Now I'm just going a million miles a minute. My brain won't slow down because I don't know where to go next. But
I'm sorry, lovely. Well, I can add to it with
please
the
do.
paranormal investigating side if you want. The reason why they're not interacting with you, and I do it for YouTube, so I will say I go in there and I go, "Oh, can you do this? Can you do that?" I do it for YouTube, but that's why they're not interacting with you. You imagine something on a spiritual level that's more smarter than you, that understands energy. You don't want to be a performing monkey. You don't want to be like you're in a circus. So when you're walking in there going, can you do this? Can you do that? That is why you actually find when people rev it up and they get angry with it, they actually get more activity. Whereas my Priest Cottage video, I've got three EVPs. I don't do all the class A's and all that, so I don't know what class they would be. I've got three EVPs, and when I put them out, people were so shocked. They were like, they're clear as day. And I was like, yeah, they are. And they were like, can you explain why? And I said, look at the way I'm treating him. I walked up the stairs and said, oh, I saw you there. And he went, yes, me. So it's sort of like treating them as if they're human still. Because that's they are technically, they're just without the meat suit.
We talked about those videos, and I am so excited for you to watch them so you can tell me what you think because the things flying through my head right now are just wow. So I do have a question because you did touch on something that I very firmly stand on, but I don't think I've made it known to anybody that I stand firmly on this, is that we're the containment. Like you keep calling it a meat suit, which I love. Like, but our us as like humans as like living, we contain that energy, and that's why it. So I guess my thought process or the question I'm trying to spit out, but my brain is just running a bajillion miles a minute right now, is how do you feel that they what do they feel? So like I'm under the impression that you don't feel pain in the afterlife. You just feel I don't even want to say happy, but just I guess love isn't even the right word either, but I don't feel like they have emotions per se. It's just a state of being.
So no, some of them it is a state of being. So this is where it gets very complicated. So some of them it is a state of being, and it's a bit like that episode of I'm hoping everyone's watched Supernatural, where oh my goodness, what's his name? Bobby's just died. He's been
Oh
at
yeah.
Egypt and he's just died. I had to
Mhm.
do the Egypt joke, sorry. Um, and he gets trapped in that house, and they're all just there existing. But you've got the main ghost who isn't existing. He is his emotions still. He wants more power still. He wants more greed. They are your black shadow men, by the way. They're not demons. They're actually human souls, which are just CUNTs. And that is them. I spelt it out. I was behaved. I spelt it
Oh no
out.
no no! It wasn't the look. I'll explain when you're done.
So basically, yes, they are still human. And if they just existed, so say if you've got a depression in this life, and this is going to sound awful, so I do apologize, but say if you've got depression in this life and you're just existing in this life, you're just going to exist in the afterworld. You're not going to go on to further things like for me, it'd be the meadows, for Christians, it'd be heaven. You aren't going to get to go on to that because you're just existing. You only know how to exist. So you will be the ones which are stuck to a house just doing the same thing over and over again, staring at brick walls and stuff like that. This is why I sort of say they are human. They're just like us, just without the meat suit. Because some do just exist. Some are there to control you and they now know how to, their food is our energy, or the energy of the building, or the energy of animals. That's why animals run from them. And I think this is one of the reasons why, for me personally, I do struggle a little bit because I think a lot of people do see it as they're all existing. They don't realize there's about 170 categories for ghosts. There's about 170 categories. So when people put them into these three categories, I'm like, yeah, no, there's a lot more. You get your ghost which wants to come to you for help. You'll get your black shadow men that are just coming to you to control you. You'll get your children. This is the one I get emotional with. You'll get your children spirits who didn't want to leave mummy and daddy, and now mummy and daddy's gone into the light thinking their child's there and their child's actually stuck here. So you get so many different categories for them. It's unbelievable. So unbelievable. Sorry, have
Okay,
I
so my
complicated
next
it too
no, you don't have anything to apologize for. You so the Shadow Man, I actually have asked people about that because I was told as a younger girl, I guess, that that is like the witch man that keeps trying to take your energy. So it was really interesting to me. That's what the face was. It wasn't anything you said. It was just that was kind of like, okay, that makes sense. So I gotta ask, and I'm just curious, and it's, do you believe that demons exist, or do you just believe that they're just evil humans?
I don't believe in demons,
Oh,
but I do
thank God.
daemon. So this is where it gets complicated. So because I'm Hellenic pagan, so I believe in daemon,
Okay.
and basically I believe it was you. So a bit like the Minotaur story. Because he was so selfish, his he was cursed and all that luck. And out of that was born an evil entity, the Minotaur. And that always, for me, that resembles how some people actually get an attachment, but it's not actually a ghost attachment. They've actually invented it themselves because they're so negative. They've actually had to, their body can't contain that negative energy. So they've actually caused a second energy.
And that could cause voices of just negativity, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So sometimes this is why sometimes when I'm going to sound really anti-Christian, but I promise you I'm not. Sometimes when the church is talking about these things and stuff like that, and they're saying about, you know, some of the stuff, and people don't actually heal and they end up in mental hospitals, etc., for the rest of their lives. Some of the times I sit there going, yeah, because you weren't dealing with the correct entity. You weren't dealing with what actually needs to be dealt with, which may be the mental health, picking them up, getting their chakras back in line, getting rid of the negative energy that they're feeling, because they're just so complex with negative energy that they've managed to make their own shadow man. So it's like, and this is a thing, even the shadow man's more complex than what people actually realize. So much more complex. And I sound like the weirdest person ever.
You don't. You do not at all. Like I fully am hanging on every word because so much makes sense. And maybe that's just weird because maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But it like okay, so now mind you, this is not my situation. But so say that a person only gets like negative messages and things like that. Can they dispel that by changing their mindset and all of that? Because I mean, that's a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but I've dealt with a significant amount of people that are like, oh, that's just that they was telling me to do something like bad or, and they say that they see these shadow people, and I'm like, well, you got to change your energy. But I was always told, like I said, that they feed off of that they're trying to t take my energy. So
So that
I,
you've actually brought up something which is brilliant. So what these people are, they become energy suckers because they're so dark, they need your white energy. So what they do is their shadow man that they've got attached to them, which is still their selves, they're sucking your energy to try and make their energy feel good, to make them feel good. It's the only way they can. So I love what you've said there because it is to a T. That is actually what happens.
and they, okay, so yes, it's okay. Whoa. All right, my mind just got blown for a second. Oh, my ear's ringing. I just hit something. Oh my God. Um, okay. That just answered a significant question I've had for a lot of years. Um, but that's not here nor there. The energy suckers, we'll go back to that. So you and I kind of talked about protection and your own light and your own bubble. I like to envision it in the shower of just all of the darkness just washing over me, like just washing away and it goes down the drain. Is there any other um like I also take Epsom salt baths. Like I try to ground myself. I really like do everything in my power to make sure that I'm aligned because like I've dealt with so much dark in my life. I'm just done with it. And I guess my question would be, what would you suggest for like a newbie? I mean, I'm not new, but I'm not experienced in trusting myself either. So what would you suggest to people like me out there?
Oh, so one of the things is meditation. I am absolutely, I know sparklers are going to be like, for God's sake, here she goes. I'm obsessed with meditation, and I will admit that. The next thing is actually learning how to cleanse yourself. So people are saying about the fact you're cleansing the negative when you this is going to upset a couple of my ladies, to be honest, because I do a podcast and I love Sam to pieces with her. But my personal opinion, when you wash yourself, you're only cleansing out the negative energy on the outside. You're not cleansing it on the inside. So when you wash it off, you're only getting the outside negative energy. So the days and negative energy, etc., etc. Water is a brilliant cleanser. So one of the things I actually do is I chug down two massive bottles of water when I'm wanting to cleanse out, so that it actually filters through me.
Okay.
With it for about an hour. So it is sort of like an hour ritual. So I do apologize, guys, for that. But that is one of the things that I do. That's actually one that I've never gave to anyone before. So I'm quite shocked that I've
Oh,
actually gave it. I usually don't talk about that one. That's why I have good kidneys. Um, One of the other things that I actually do as well is once a month, I always incense my house from top to bottom. One of the things I'm going to shock people is don't use white sage. White sage can actually also bring in spirits.
okay.
White sage can actually also bring in spirits. So the type of ones you want to use is your frankincense. The church does have that one, right? So when they use frankincense at a funeral, brilliant one. Sandalwood, lavender. I think red sage is a good one as well. I'm not 100% on red sage. But people don't realize there's actually more than white sage, I know. Rosemary is absolutely brilliant. Rosemary is a witch's and a spiritualist person's best friend. Rosemary is the best thing ever. Um, the other thing you can do if you don't want to do it through water is actually a tea cleanse. So you can also do it as a tea cleanse. And this would be I put rosemary, ginger, and basil or basil. I can't remember which way to pronounce it anymore. I put that into a strainer. I do that. If it doesn't taste good, and I will admit that, so you put loads of honey in. So the honey just takes away the taste. Drink that down. It's all of them are toward negative energy off. So they just take all the negative energy out of you. And as you're making it, do tell it what you want to do. So sort of say, I do cleanse and protect. It's my favorite thing. Stir clockwise, so always clockwise. Everything always has to go clockwise. Um, the other thing is I do a lot of protection spells and stuff as well. But one of the other major things that I've actually do, and I've done massively since publicly investigating, because whereas usually I would go and I do cleanse people's houses or cleanse them, I wouldn't chance bringing spirits back. But since I've been publicly investigating, I now have to have protection bags at my doors again. So that'll be on my front door and back door with black witch's salt lines at the front and back door. Um, Black witch's salt, you don't need charcoal as well. I know they tell you do, but you don't. Um, and in my protection bags, I have whatever I'm feeling I need at that time for protection. So rosemary, thyme, garlic. No, we're not trying to get rid of vampires, but it's a negative, anti-negative. Um, oh my goodness. Basil, ginger, cloves. Cloves. Um, so it's sort of like all that. There's quite a lot that I do, as you can see. I do I do quite a lot. I've just realized that.
That's okay. Well, thank you for all of that. I will definitely try some, especially the inside cleansing, because, well, that's not here nor there. But so as far as oops, go ahead.
No, it's just one of them
Oh,
things you think about. People don't think about cleansing our inside. They think they don't realize you're just putting sort of like another barrier on sometimes. And yeah.
it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense that way. And I don't know why I wouldn't have thought of that. But You're just so knowledgeable. I just want to ask you a million things, but I'm trying to keep this as paranormal as I can. Um, what about scrying? So do you dabble in scrying?
I love scrying. You can see Hecate's one there when I scry with Hecate. Yeah, I use crystal balls. I use just crystals. Um, I use my monitor, which sounds really weird, but I do sometimes if I'm literally sat here and I can't find something on my desk, I scry with my monitor. I think it's the problem with scrying is people don't understand what it's actually meant to be used for now. That is one of the problems with scrying. It's not actually just about paranormal. Scrying isn't. It's actually also about finding lost things, etc., etc. Scrying, though, for paranormal, I don't advise it unless you've actually done it for a few years and understand what you're doing. Um, because when you're actually in a paranormal environment and you start seeing stuff like you do in the crystal ball, this is where spiritual psychosis can come in. Because especially if you're in somewhere where murders have happened or essays happened or something along that lines, and you're not mentally prepared to see it, it can be a bit of a traumatic event, if I'm honest. But I do like scrying, yeah. I
It's
do. Yeah.
something I've been interested in, but it also kind of, I don't know, I'm back and forth about it. So I haven't really dabbled in it too much because I want to be certain before I actually like dive into something. But I do use pendulums, dowsing rods. I also have tarot, so many tarot decks. It's kind of ridiculous. But
No, the
but I have my set decks that I'm most connected to, and then I have my fun things. That's the same thing with my dowsing rods, all of my pendulums. I think I've got 4 or 5 pendulums at this point. A couple of them have broke. I think that that just means that they serve their purpose, and I just do what I need with them.
yeah,
Oh,
it
I hit something.
to run it out. I get my faces and my gives it away, don't it? It can do. This is where there's a miss thing. It can actually mean they're overpowered by energy at that time. So it can actually mean that they're overpowered by energy at that time. It's not. I've had a crystal where I was doing it and I was talking to something you guys would call demonic, and the crystal cracked straight up the middle. And it was just the fact it just couldn't cope with the amount of energy that that thing was putting into it. And sometimes that's what it is just the amount of energy and our own energy. I can control my crystals. Oh, fuck's sake. Why do I say stuff?
You're good. You're fine. I think it's fascinating. So I had a partner, like I said, it was a duo more than a team, but he wanted me to try to use the dowsing rods without touching them. Ooh. Do you think that that would work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. See, I tried and I tried probably too hard. Oh, you've got a pendulum. I love
I've
that.
got everything on my desk. Everything's on my desk.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, this is so cool.
you get demonstrations with me, look, because I like teaching. It's what I
That's
love
so
doing.
neat. What kind of crystal is that?
This is a green aventurine.
Okay. That's pretty. Mm.
Can you go round for me, please? Oh, you can't see you on there. Can you go round for me, please? Go around. Go around. There we go. Can you go back and forth? Oh, you like that one, don't you? Yeah, you like that one. So as we can see, you don't actually have to be touching any of them to work them. So all it needs is I actually stop it for you. Okay, can we go round? That's my energy going through it.
That's cool.
Can we go back and forth? Thank you.
So when connecting to things like a dowsing rod or sorry, crystals and stuff like that, there's so many people. I know how I get them to work, but there's also a lot of people that are very skeptical of it that say that it's your energy or there's something that's going on that's moving them in the directions that they are. How would you explain that it's actually, so I feel before I'm sorry, I'm gonna, that
No,
it's
you're
the spirits going through me that's doing it. And that's kind of how I explain it.
yes and no, depends on the spirit. So sometimes I feel we attach to the energy and the energy comes through us, and that's how they do it. Sometimes I feel it is very much our energy and just our intuition knowing that that's the answer and we make it do it. It's very, very confusing. And I will just show this off just because I like proving them people wrong. Because, it's a dangling crystal. My hands are still as I can be. I'm actually watching my hand to make sure I'm as still as I can be. Can you swing back and forth for me, please? Can you hit my wrist? That's with my hand being as still as it can be. So you can you go round in a circle? So I just wanted to show you that our energy can control it. So sometimes just us intuitively knowing it can control it. It is fully controlled by energy. Sometimes they will control it and they will take control. I had that at Ye Old Salutation Inn, and I was quite shocked at it, to be honest, watching them do that behavior. I was really shocked at that, to be honest. Um, but it really does depend on the spirit, on the way its emotions are that day. It also depends as well on us and how willing we are to let that energy in. So if I've got a nice spirit, I'll let that energy just come fully in. It's not channeling. So before people go, oh, well, you're channeling the energy. No, we're not. So it's not channeling. Um, it's like it's like they've come to the side of us and our energies have met. Because what people don't realize, they come out about an inch. So it's like they've come to the side of us and our energies have met. That's the way I need to explain it. Sometimes, especially when you've got a child spirit, you'll actually see their little hand playing with it. And that's why you're not getting direct answers because they're literally sat there like a child would. Am I explaining a lot for you, Tiffany?
I have a little child spirit that I've seen, and I hear little pitter patters all over the place. And like when I'm up in my room, my pendulums don't always work the way I want them to, and that just explains a lot.
They see it as toys.
Because yes, because I feel like if I go anywhere else, like they work the way that I need them to. My dowsing rods are a little different. My pendulums, however, I've lost, this is going to sound horrible, a little bit of trust in them because of all of that. Of just like it's almost chaotic, but it also sometimes vibrates. It like when I use my pendulums, like the chain will vibrate.
Yeah, so you saw that when I was first connecting with it, when I had it hanging off that bit, it vibrated when I first connected with it. And that is what that is. I was just giving it too much energy. I realized that. So it's actually coming up the chain.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
But it sometimes the spirits like to mess with us as well. So sometimes, like we'll say to them, especially if I know this is going to sound weird, but especially if it doesn't match with your beliefs, sometimes it can
Mm.
actually really, really mess with it. So, say if you've got a jinn, but you're not Muslim, they're going to mess with you because you ain't going to know what that is. So, yeah,
So that makes sense. Okay.
so this is why pendulums do work, don't work. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now in the paranormal world. I've been hidden in the background for so, so long. And it's why I'm doing it, because we have these three categories, and everyone's like, it's either demon, black shadow, or just a being. It's something stuck here. And I'm like, no, there's so much, the spiritual realm, there's so much more to it than what people realize, like so much more. And it's nice to speak to someone actually that gets that.
So I'm very fortunate to work with people that are from all over the place. So I do have somebody that has brought up a gin before. So that's kind of how I knew what it was. Because I mean, before that, I probably would have been like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. But I do because he talks about it and he says that he has one. And it's mind blowing. He won't talk about it because he's scared. But I got him to at least open up a little bit to me, which was cool because I said something and it piqued his interest. And I don't even remember what the heck I said. I was being sarcastic and something. And he's like, "Do you really believe in that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But it was coming across as being a kind of a jerk. I'm sarcastic, very much sarcastic at work. And but I've also worked with a girl, she was Hispanic, so she had a whole slew of other side of it's amazing how different cultures have different things, but they're so much the same. And it makes me, and this is gonna sound really like almost conceited, but I don't mean it to sound this way at all. And I'm actually very humble about myself, but I feel like I'm a little bit more well-rounded because I get to talk to so many people with different ethnic backgrounds and things like that because once I got myself out there, it all started coming out.
I think this is one of the disappointing things that I actually watch in Paranormal Investigating. And I'm sorry if this upsets any of you, and I'm going to hold my hands up here. This one I don't give monkeys about if it upsets anyone. And I love that about you, Tiffany, because one of the things that makes me really actually angry about paranormal investigators, how many of them are uncultured. And it makes me, I'll speak about East Asia and how their spirits are in East Asia. I'll talk about India and how their spirits are in India. And I'll talk about Europe and how their spirits are in Europe and stuff like that. And I'll talk about Native Americans. And you can hear how this is one thing that makes me quite angry. And people are go, they disrespect so badly. I watch these paranormal investigators going over to Japan, going into an Henri's house, and they're winding that spirit up. And I'm like sat there going, what are you doing? And then they come back to America and they're like, oh, I don't know why it followed me. And I'm like, really? Really? And it does make me very, very angry because I think one of the things that we need to respect when we're in the spiritual world, when we're in the paranormal world, is cultures. It's the major top of the list, understanding everyone's cultures, understanding how different they are. Christianity is different in Africa to what it is in Europe. Christianity is different from in America to what it is in Europe. Christianity is different to Europe to what it is UK, even though we're the same continent. And this is the problem. You know, some Christian faiths now you can be spiritual, you can talk to the spirits, you can be a witch. Um, some Muslim faiths, believe it or not, you can actually be a witch and speak to the dead. They actually have a main hierarchy woman that would be that person. And this is the thing that frustrates me because there is so many different cultures. Leaving ourselves uncultured is leaving ourselves to prey. And this is the problem with some of the paranormal investigators because you're leaving yourself too open to stuff you don't understand. Sorry, my little rant. I'm
No,
going on.
no, I absolutely 100 like I said when I ended up having him open up a little bit, I kind of pried and I kind of felt bad because I am thirsty for that information because I'm not well-rounded about it, but I want to be. And that's I mean, we all sat in a little area when we were supposed to be working and talked about just paranormal things. And it fascinates me because they have, like I said, they are so similar, but they're so different. They have different terms for it. They have different belief systems of how these things work. And it's just incredible to me to talk to people like that. And I love people with different backgrounds if I can get along with them, which I can usually get along with just about anybody, but sometimes there's a clash there and I just can't break that barrier. But it is important. I mean, even when you go to like Buddhism and stuff and you think of monks and they're very in tune with meditation and their bodies and all of that, but I think there's more to it that people don't realize. Um,
Oh, yeah. They are very spiritual. Very, very
oh,
spiritual. Majorly. And this is the thing, because it's a bit like the term shaman. People use the term shaman now a lot. And I sit there going, you do realize that's actually a religion out in East Asia. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, shamanship's actually a religion in East Asia. And they're calling themselves a shaman and they don't even know it's a religion in East Asia. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here?
there is a person that calls himself a shaman. I'm like, what makes him a shaman? Like, and people get so mad at me. But also, like Native Americans, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of what they do is a closed practice, and most people don't understand what closed practice means, and it drives me crazy. Like, um, I won't say cleansing anymore. I sage. If I'm going to say that I'm saging, it's the same practice, but it's a different word, or it's the same principle, different practice. There we go.
Oh, yes. I won't say Reiki anymore. So I don't say that I do Reiki anymore. I say I do like Reiki. And the reason being is because I found out, yes, this doctor invented it, but Reiki was strictly for Japanese people. And it was
Oh,
invented the way it was invented is meant to be very Japanese. It was invented by a Japanese doctor. And this is a thing that frustrates me because it's not a closed practice. He didn't want it fully closed, no. But for me, some of the stuff that we've now brought in is part of a closed practice. It's part of Hinduism. So I'm like, I won't use the Hinduism or the Buddhist symbols that we're told to use because I'm like, that's actually nothing to do with Reiki. And this is the problem. There's a lot of overstep, there's a lot of misunderstanding and overstepping boundaries. And I think people like yourself, Tiffany, you'll find yourself blessed. You'll be welcomed into people like myself, where I don't mind teaching you. I like it because you're open-minded. Um,
Thank
you'll
you.
find yourself like myself. I've spoke to a couple of Korean shamans. I've been blessed with that, and had a conversation with them and stuff like that. I've been blessed with speaking to some friends in China. I say some friends, bless their hearts, some spiritual leaders in China before it become illegal, obviously. And still can't get my head around the way they do things though in China, and I will admit that that is the one culture I cannot get my head around because it's all about astrology. Even when the demons can take over you, it's all about astrology, and I can't get my head around it. And this is the thing that I think is major. And I love that about you. And I think that's one of the things that I could feel off you. Whereas for me, it's one of the things I do struggle the most with paranormal investigators is the lack of understanding of, an honorary, I can't pronounce it, my daughter will be able to, and I may be pronouncing the wrong demon. She's better at all this than me, to be honest, at remembering the names of them. But it's the same as our white lady that over here in the West. And she was in the Grudge. So if anyone wants an example of where she is, she's in the Grudge. And this is the thing that I think is really, really, really important, really important. To understand if you, especially if you're in, for me, one of the biggest triggers I have, so say if you're talking to a spirit from the 1600s and you're talking in the language you're talking now, they ain't gonna understand a word you're saying, even if they're English.
I say like stick or something to like make like if I'm talking to somebody that's older that's not going to know what a flashlight is, I'm going to say the lamp or the what's the other word I can't think of what it's called right now. The flame. I'll say something stupid that makes no sense to anybody else, but it will make some sense to them.
This is the thing, and this is where cultures are important, and not just nowadays cultures, but history culture. when you're paranormal investigating. It is so important because this is one thing that I always example as well. When I'm speaking to Vikings, I don't understand a word they're saying. I stand there.
I'm
I've moved
sorry.
up to Yorkshire, and it's like, I'm like, don't talk to me, man. I might be able to see you, and you can tell I can see you, but I don't understand a word you're saying. I'm walking off, mate. Because I'm just like, I don't understand a word they're saying. Whereas I can speak to an Anglian Saxon, and I can understand every other word because it is Old Germanic, German. And this is the thing that people don't realize. It can be very, very difficult. So when I watch people talking, especially East Drive, and it's a 1600 spirit there, and they're stood there and they're like calling it a nonce. And I'm like, the word nonce come out in the 1990s, and it come from Wakefield prison. So I'm like, and it meant non-outside um something something to do with not going outside anyway for that prisoner because they were a PDF. That's the term we use, isn't it now? This is the thing, even I get muddled up with terms that we use now. And this is the thing that frustrates me because you're calling it a nonce or something like that. And I'm like, how do they even know what that means? They won't know
Right.
what that means. And not just that, that wasn't even a bad thing in their day. So in the 1600s, you could marry a child as young as 2 years old. Yeah, okay, we now realize it's bad, but it wasn't bad back then. And this is the problem that I think a lot of people struggle to get their minds round. Like, I'd be disgusted if someone turned around and said to me they're marrying a 2-year-old now. I'd punch them in the face. Do you know what I mean? Actually, I'd string them up by then. But that's another conversation. And this is the thing, though. But back then, it was seen as okay. And I think this is where we need to, as paranormal investigators, we need to remember this when we're talking to them. We need to remember, actually, hold on, will they actually understand us? This is why I don't believe in gadgets, because they wouldn't even be able to translate half the words that they're actually saying sometimes. They and this is the problem, because some gadgets don't even have saloon on it. They wouldn't have called it some gadgets don't even have pub on it. It's little things like that. Can you tell that this is one of my little pet hates?
I get it. I know I we're very much on the same wavelength. But I mean, I have used tools and I do show them how it works and things. And usually, sometimes, depending on what it is, I can get them to do it. But I
Yeah.
think it's all about how you, like we spoke about before, how you present yourself, like, I'm always one that I have to be alone because I'm a weirdo. But when I roll up to when I roll up to an investigation, I literally will say, even if it isn't in my head, you're not allowed to come with me, but you're allowed to touch me to show me that you're there. Stuff like that. I know that might raise some red flags, but I don't mind being touched as long as you're not hurting me.
Oh,
And I
okay,
make
that's
that
fine.
clear. No, I
Yeah,
make that very clear. You can touch me, but you're not allowed to hurt me. You're not allowed to come home with me. And I do it when I leave too, every single time. You're not allowed to come with me. You need to stay where you're put. And I always usually thank them for their time and everything else because I'm still going into their space regardless.
I love that because it's setting boundaries. They need as much boundaries as what people do. And they do need as much boundaries as what people do. Because I hold my hands up, some attachments you can get away with just the person going, right, I want you gone. Sometimes you can get away with it, something as simple as that. Um, and I do love that. The reason why I sort of went when you said, oh, I say it in my head, so it may not matter, and it was like, no, it matters, they can read our thoughts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um, One of the worst things about them, to be honest. Especially when you get stuff coming through, you're a bit like, ooh, okay, I know where that's coming from, but no one else does, so we ignore it. But I think I love tools, and I love tools I do my investigations on YouTube. What I post out publicly are so different to what I do privately. So, so different to what I do privately. The YouTube stuff is just literally advertisement, and that is it. It's fun stuff. It's, a quick show of what I do. But compared to what I actually do, it's nothing. It's literally, and as you say, I've got so much information I want to share with people. I want to show people. I want to guide people through years and years of experience, through meditation, through having so many friends across the world. And I think this is one of the reasons why this is important, to be honest. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but for some reason I wanted to say it and I don't even know where I'm going. And I sat there and I was like, oh, Tommy, where you wanted me to go with that? And I think that is what I love. I think it's getting off the subject of gadgets because I sort of am very anti ghost tube. Um, I am really weird. I'm dead in the middle of a debunker and full in paranormal. I'm sort of dead in the center. I'm not quite either, but yeah, I can see them.
Yeah. I think that's very important to have that little bit of skepticism in any sort of paranormal investigation because not every bump is going to be a spirit and not every um, light is going to be, you know, it can be a reflection. I think it's important to have that healthy dose of debunking skepticism and actual knowing. So I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and it is so true because I did before we used Spirit Talker because everyone raved about Spirit Talker, didn't they, last year? So
Mhm.
before using Spirit Talker, I literally sat there and I was like, right, okay, download it, left it on the side, and about every minute and a half it says a word. It does time it out different slightly, but every minute and a half it says at least one word. And I'm like, there's no spirits in my house at all. So then I picked it up and I was walking around with it, and I noticed that when I was turning the phone sharply, it was saying a word. So I literally sat there and I picked it up and I shook it. And every time I shook it, it said nearly a complete sentence. So I literally went, it's it's getting the air around the mic. So if you're walking around, even if that's sat on the flat surface and you're walking around, that's going to pick up words because it's getting the air around the mic. That's what it's in tuning with. But yet it's still saying sentences every minute and a half to keep your attention to it. So I was like, this is totally AI controlled, but at the same time, not AI controlled. So I was like, so Spirit Talker is one that went very much out the window. Like I don't use it at all now. Ghost Tube, I haven't figured out how they run it yet, but there is something funny behind it, and I can't figure it out. And it's dim or nothing. But I think this is why with them, spirit boxes, believe it or not, I believe in, which
I play them
shocks.
backwards.
It's how I hear them. So I'm like, that is how I hear them. So spirit boxes, I do definitely believe in. I'm trying to think what else tools there is. Why
What about
can't I
like a
think?
K2 meter? I can tell you you're not a fan.
You need a week in a property with a K2 meter and a proper one, not just your little handheld thing. I haven't got mine up here. I can control them. I can put my energy into them the same way I do the crystal.
So yes, okay. I guess it depends on what you want to call yourself. I mean, I say psychics, mediums, you say clairvoyant, which they're all essentially within the same category. Um, but I have noticed that with certain people, it picks up their energy frequencies and it will jump. So I have noticed that. And when I stand next to them, I also sometimes, it's not always, like if I'm like really excitable for whatever reason, I notice it jumps up because my energy is jumping with it. So I can I'm skeptical about a lot of things, but I'm also I also have faith in some of them because there's certain things that I can't, even with all of the control, there's still things that are out of my control.
This is why with EMF meters, I like them. So I call the K2, to be honest, it's compared to an EMF meter, it's useless. But I do like EMF meters, and the reason why I said you need a week in there is because of that type of thing, sweet. So if you've got a family, if you've got someone you don't know who's with you and they've got a gift and they don't know it, you imagine them getting excited and putting that energy out there. And all of a sudden your K2 or your EMF meter's gone to red and you're like, oh, we've definitely got a spirit here. So they're getting more and more excited. So it's revving it up. So it's staying on red. So you're like, oh yeah, look at this, look at this. Oh, this is awesome. But all that is that person's energy. They just don't know they've got a gift. That is all it is. Um, so for me, this is why I say you need a week, especially if you've got a teen in the house, if you're private investigating, like that teen's hormones and emotions and energy is going to be all over the place, all over the place. So for me, this is why, in a way, EMF beaters are brilliant for what they were made for, which is loose wiring, gas boilers with problems, etc. So they're brilliant for what they're actually made for. But me personally, for ghost hunting, because of our energy as well, I don't feel they work as well.
Fair.
Oh yeah. I like
So
want to
you,
sit behind.
no. Oh, I'm really enjoying this. So if you have to go, you can stop me at any point because I will
No,
keep you
no,
here
you're
for
fine,
longer.
lovely, it's fine.
Um, you touched on something that I've kind of noticed about myself is I can pick up usually when other people have abilities, even if they're not aware of them yet. And I've usually kept myself quiet. Do you usually tell people or do you just let them figure it out for themselves?
This is a hard one because it depends on the person. And the reason why it depends on the person is because everyone wants to be a comic hero. And that's what they see our gifts as. They see it as we can be Storm, or we can be Jane, or we can be Charles. Is that the top X-Man bloke? Whoever
Oh,
it is. You know, they see us as that. And this is the problem. It's not like that at all. It's not shooting magical powers out of our hands and stuff like that. Yes, there is little things like I can astro project. So there is things, but it's more soul work. People don't realize that. It's more energy work, it's more soul work and stuff like that. I'm cautious about telling people if they have a gift. And the reason being is I've seen a lot of people go into spiritual psychosis after when I was younger, going, there's something funny about you. I think you can see them too. Um, And I've seen them too much go into spiritual psychosis because they've then tried to open up too quick. So I am very, very funny about telling people they have the gift. The main gift I will tell people is that they're possibly a healer. So if I do feel a sense that they're a healer and stuff, on their energy, which usually you can tell because they've got a lot of heart chakra. They've got like a massive heart chakra that likes to come out. Um, One of the things for me as well is what is a gift? So when I talk to people, what is a gift? Because we all have a gift. Some of us have gift of the gab. So some of us have an amazing blue chakra. Some of us have gift of beauty. And when I say gift of beauty, that I mean by that the fact we don't care about showing it. So they have an amazing yellow chakra. So I think for me personally, everyone has a gift in their own way, but it depends on how it's being used.
okay, you
Or
just said something that you have intrigued me in another way yet again. What is okay, you can see chakras. Can you see auras? Or are
so
they the same thing?
I can feel chakras, so I can't actually see them. I can feel.
Okay.
So your aura to me is actually your soul energy. So I see souls in white, black, and grey.
Okay. So you don't see like the normal shock or I'm sorry, aura colors?
No, I don't see it. I see what your soul color is. And I've only found so far with I've been doing my spiritual podcast now for a year and a half. And I've only found six of us out of everyone I've interviewed that can do it. But we see um depends on the person, on how open they are. But we can see it in, yeah, white, grey, and black. And the grey alters from murky, which is more or less black, up to what we call us as misty, which is more or less white. Can I run it out? Because this one
No.
confused everyone.
No, no. I see colors. So I was intrigued that you said that you only see three different colors because I well, colors. I've seen green, yellow, white, um, blue. So I see those things. I mean, granted, I'm sure there's probably other colors in there, but the hue of them is different too based on what their energy is. And sometimes when I'm talking to people, the bigger it grows and the more because the more they open up to me, the more I can see it. And it's not with everybody. And I'm still learning how to tune myself into that, but it's so cool when I can see it. And it's just like, oh my God. Of course, I don't tell people that, but I guess that's kind of
Yeah. No, it's totally normal. So I see it as soul colors, but I think that's because I'm here. My sole purpose is here is to teach everyone to follow their souls, not a main religion, and stuff like that. So because my main purpose here is for that, so I think that's why they gave me the gift of seeing souls, because I'm meant to be here to be a teacher. So I know whether I'm guiding that person correctly, because if I'm guiding you correctly, your soul should be white. So I think that's why I see that. Whereas obviously for me personally, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, you're more a messenger. So this is sort of helping people on the messages they need to hear and talking to people about what they need to hear and stuff like that. So for me, that is why you can see auras, because you may look at someone's aura and go, um, I know mine's always pink, and I had that explained that it's because I'm connected between knowledge and spiritual, and I'm also grounded. So it's sort of like that's why I'm always pink. Um, so I'm not sure quite what mine would be. But say if you saw someone with throat chakra, you could see blue around them, which is their throat chakra, which to me then you would most probably have to give them a message and get them talking or something like that. So you're more that sort of person for me, if that makes sense.
it.
Um, yeah, so this is what it is. They're there for a reason, and this is why I says it depends on our gifts and why our gift is there, and we have to figure that out through our soul.
I'll spew things out of my mouth and they're like, how'd you know that? And I'm like, I don't know, just talking. Just- I mean,
And that is it. That is it. I love that.
I mean, there's a younger kid that I work with. I mean, I'm a manager at my job, so I'm in that role as it is. But he came into the office the one day, and we were just talking randomly, and said something, and it triggered something in me. I'm like, your mom's really proud of you, and he honestly burst into tears, and I felt awful. And I apologized instantly. He's like, no, no, no. He goes, you didn't hurt my feelings. You didn't upset me. He goes, I needed that. And for whatever reason, it came out and I knew that he needed it as much as I needed to say it because it was not coming out. It was coming out whether I wanted it to or not.
And let me guess, was his aura green?
I'm not I don't remember. Probably I don't know. I don't really know.
Take note next time, because if his aura was green, that shows that he's caging away his heart, that he's
He
struggling with
is.
that. Or yellow, actually, because it could be self-esteem as well. I love that. And this is the thing, sweet. This is what our gifts. Sorry, sweetie.
No, that's okay. That fits because it was literally they both fit really.
So yeah,
So I don't want to give too much of his information away, but that they both fit.
yeah. I think this is the thing though, and this is why I say we have to figure out our gift and what our gift is. The problem is too many people, when I showed off my trick that I can control crystals, and stuff like that. I've got a video up on my TikTok and I showed it off. My daughter was stood there with a tea strainer and it wouldn't move, and she passed it over to me and it went turned straight into a pendulum. And I was like, don't know why, I can control everything. I'll send it over to you once we're done,
Yeah,
Tiffany.
please do.
And I was like, I don't know why I can do it. I don't know why. And the trouble is people will then say, because they know mediums, they know clairvoyants, they know psychics, and they can't do it, so that must mean I'm faking it, or I'm moving my hand, even though my hands are still as anything, and stuff like that. It really does frustrate me in some sense, because this is what I try to explain to everyone. Everyone's medium's gift's different. Every
Yeah.
clairvoyant's gift's different. And this is the thing that frustrates me. We are the rarest ones where we get the videos in front of our heads, and well, for me, I'm one of the rare ones where I get video in my head, or I just get random thoughts. That's actually quite common. They just don't tell you that. Um, or I even know stories. I just know when I walk into a house, I know everything that's gone on there. And I don't even know how I know that. And this is the thing. It's we're all different. We're I yeah, I don't know how else to word it other than that. So that's my opinion on gifts. I'll hold my hands up.
Yeah, I didn't realize that movies aren't how everybody sees things. Like you said earlier, and I don't think it was recording, and I really wish that I would have started it a little bit earlier. But I just lost my train of thought. Oh, the videos, like you mentioned the memories. And that's kind of how they go through in my head. Like I'm thinking of a memory, but I would have no business knowing that memory.
It's one of the hardest things to do. I was with one of my girls yesterday in a clairvoyant reading, and I said to her, "Remember the den?" And don't even know how I knew about this den, but I could picture it and everything. And this is how spiritual messages come through. And I was meant to be done with her reading. And I just went, remember the den? You ain't that little girl that's stuck in the den at the bottom of the garden anymore. And she literally messaged me a photo of her sobbing because I've got her on WhatsApp. And I was like, is everything okay? And she was like, you do not realize what you've just said. And I was like, what? And this is the thing. And we walk into properties. I remember walking into East Drive, and I'm not going to say too much on some of the stuff that I saw, but I saw a hospital. Now, no one talks about this, but there was a hospital over the road. No one talks about it at East Drive, 30 East Drive. I'll send you the photos.
Okay. Yeah, please. Oh
And
my goodness.
this is the thing. No one talks about any of this. It's it's quite scary that no one talks about this side of clairvoyance. And this is why I call it clairvoyance and not mediumship, because I'm not stuck in the middle of something. I'm not just psychic either. So that's why I don't call it psychic, because yeah, okay, I can have premonitions, but they're not all the time. So that's why I'm not psychic. Yeah, okay, I can tell prophecies with my tarot cards. But sometimes, to be honest, I'm just getting emotional on how you can deal with a situation at the minute, sometimes off my tarot cards. I'm not getting 100% what's going to happen in the future. Sometimes I do get visions with my tarot cards and that. So yeah, okay, you can call me psychic, but that doesn't fit then with talking to the dead, because a psychic only sees the future. So, and this is actually because it's from the term psyche, which is from Greece, which is actually named after the goddess Psyche of prophecy. So sort of like, and this is the problem that I have with myself, because when I cultured myself, it was sort of like, yeah, what term do I use? And that's when I come across a French term. Clairvoyance is actually the French term, and it means all seeing.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Or is it clear seeing? One of the two, but it means one of the two, either clear seeing or all seeing. So I was like, that makes more sense for what I am.
Yeah. So, do you have dreams that are like I call them premonitions, or are they just like flashes in your mind, or both?
Both.
Okay.
I went to 30 East Drive because I dreamt of a witch being burnt on the farmyard there. And when I turned up there, the lady next door, Carol, turned around and says, "You're here because of the witch, aren't you? She sent you a message." I went, "Yeah, I am. How did you know?" She went, "She told me." I went, "Oh, okay." I says, "Okay. Did she actually get burnt on the land here?" She went, "Yeah, she did, and she cursed the land." I went, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. Why does she want me here?" She went, "I don't know. You have to go see her." And that was our conversation.
Oh wow.
I follow,
That is
I'm cute.
that is I mean, I've had places call to me too. Um, the Hinsdale house was one of them. I had dreams about that place before I even went there. Um, the Asher Walton house is another one. I still have not gone there, but I am still so very drawn to it. Um, Matter of fact, I'm actually going there this year. So I think I know shit's gonna hit the fan in a good in like the best way possible as a paranormal. You agree, don't you? You know? In the best way possible as a paranormal investigator, but it's gonna go. Like everything I feel like I'm going to have the answers to everything I need at my current state right now at Asher Walton
Yeah.
because everything is just gonna happen and everything is gonna come crashing in the best way. And I don't know the best way else to word that because it's gonna give me answers.
So the answers you're seeking, when he shows at the top of the stairs, no one else is going to see him, just follow him. And the answers you're seeking, he'll
Girl.
be
Oh my God. So I saw him in a dream already. I saw the girl in a dream already, and I saw the daughter, and the daughter led me upstairs to her bedroom, and I need to get to that bedroom, and I don't know why.
top of the stairs to the right.
And look out a window.
I don't know why, but just follow him when he shows you at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
All right.
God, just
Oh,
my fingers are freezing right now. And I just got goosebumps all over the place, like all the way down to my toes. Like it's not even just my fingertips anymore. That was all the way down. Oh my God.
that's confirmation for you. So that's, when I said that I get the tingles that I'm on the right spiritual path with someone when I'm talking to him, and they
Yeah.
start at the top of my crown chakra and go all the way down to my toes. So that's yeah. But he is they're waiting for you because there's something that you need to know about there. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of a massive revelation for you.
And I'm
And
ready for it. I'm so excited. I have been so, uh, so I knew that my paranormal partner at the time wasn't going to be with me when I went there, even though I planned it with him. And he got really, really upset with me when I'm like, you weren't there.
the three people at the bottom of the stairs, they are going to find you a bit weird as you turn and walk away, but just ignore it. Carry on, okay? Because it's something you need to hear
Okay.
and see. And don't be scared.
And for once, I'm not scared. I am so freaking excited. Like this house has been like my goal for a while. Ever since I had that dream and I figured out where the place was. And again, I still have almost next to no information about this house. I'm still planning on going as cold as I can, but I feel something big is going to happen.
Right, I don't know why. I don't know why Tommy's singing this to me. So this must be something you need to also look for. It's an oak tree, I guess, because he's singing to me, tie the ribbon round the old oak tree.
Okay, I got goosebumps again, all the way down to my toes. I'll bring a ribbon. I've got plenty of ribbon. I'm gonna write that down somewhere. I need a pen.
So what did they used to do that for? Memories of the Civil War, wasn't it? Memories for people in the Civil War.
Okay,
I
that
think it
makes
was. Let me just double check that.
this is amazing.
Yeah, it was something to do with army. So, something to do with the armies that they used to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew it was something like that because I remember my nan talking about it when she was younger. Well, when I was younger. She was younger. Bit the wrong word in there, weren't
That's okay.
it?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. You are just, this has been one of the most incredible podcasts I've had, and I so appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm blushing. I'm actually blushing. You can see the red through it. I don't know where with compliments.
Oh my gosh.
And I piled a lot of makeup on there, believe me.
Wow. I literally cannot say anything else except for wow. In a great way, but like, wow. Holy cow.
See, I don't even know this property. This one's a new one for me. Obviously, Sam and Colby or Haunted Nights or Paranormal Quest ain't been there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna feed into that like big bang, I guess I'm gonna call it, because something's gonna happen.
And it's more going to be for you to just trust that it's okay. So that is going to be really important with that is trust what you've felt and you've seen and you've heard because it's going to be for you.
Okay. I need to
Not,
learn to trust myself more, that's for sure.
I think this is going to be your lesson in trusting yourself
Okay.
because I think that's why they've told me when you see him at the top of the stairs, just go.
Okay. I can live with that. Now time just needs to move just a smidgen faster.
I need to know as well. I'm like,
Don't worry, I will definitely keep you updated. I will definitely, yes, just all the yes. I will. Oh my goodness.
it's crazy how these places can call to us. It's absolutely insane, especially when you do have this part of the gift. But it also can call to you just by the fact you really desperately want to go there. Like I know some people that are desperate to go to Azkaban. Um, Personally, I'd run from Azkaban. I don't mean it rudely, but that's one place I'd never do. Um, there and Outswitch, not just for the respect reasons, but there's too much pain there. Um, Too much pain. And I think this is one of the things that, you've got to listen to your gut. You've got to listen to you've just got to listen to yourself, like know yourself, be okay with yourself and stuff like that. And trust it's coming. Trust is not an easy thing though.
No, not at all.
I now get my dream from last night. I'll explain
Oh,
afterwards.
yay.
It's a bit of a personal dream, so I'll explain afterwards.
Oh no, that's you're absolutely fine. Just I will let you go, I promise. But I you just said something that just kind of what the heck did you just say? Oh my God. It was so relevant too.
Was it
Must
about
not have been because what's that?
Azkaban?
Oh,
I'm saying
Auschwitz. Okay, that's what you I'm very drawn to traumatic places. Those are where my abilities flourish. Why do you think that is? Like
because
genuinely.
we're
Healers, that's
healers.
why.
We're naturally healers. I am as well. So the places that I'm drawn to, a lot of trauma happened there. So like the old castles, I love castles, always loved history and castles. But if you look at the English and the Scottish and the Welsh history, the castles are one of the worst places we can actually visit for trauma. Um, Prisons, asylums. Like I'm mass. Do you know one I want to visit is Waverley Asylum? I'm desperate to get over to Waverley. And that is because on the third floor, that clanging they hear all the time on the third floor, it's a child that still thinks it's chained to the radiator, an autistic child. And
Oh,
I've got a severely autistic child. Oh, the children. Um, I've got a severely autistic child. So one of the things I want to do is get over there and save that child and release it and tell it it's safe to go into the light. So if any mediums are watching this and you know of the child I'm talking about, if you wouldn't mind doing that for me, I'll be very grateful. Very grateful.
ooh.
But that is the clanging. So that they you often get, don't you, sort of there, you often get that can't do it with this. Sort of that noise, don't you there? And they
I
blame
mean,
it on the gender.
that makes sense. That is, oh my gosh. Well, I went to Gettysburg and we went to, oh yeah, obviously went to the Jenny Wade house, but we went to the orphanage across the street and my God, did I want to cry. And I felt something tug on the back of my shirt. That broke my heart, but I always wondered if I was weird because I'm always drawn to like these such dark, dark places.
They want to be in the light. And this is one of the things that people don't understand. So I do struggle. This is why I never did public investigations because I do struggle with this side of it. I go there and they want to be in the light and they want to be the other side. And you will see in some of my actually quite a lot of my investigations, um, even though some people that own the properties aren't happy with me discussing it, you will actually see that I offer quite a lot to pass spirits over. And I actually say to them, do you actually want to be here? Children spirits, because they take a bit longer, it's harder to do. You do need a couple of nights with them because they don't understand, they're scared and stuff like that, especially when you've got a child which was born sort of 1960s backwards, especially here in the UK, because school wasn't 100% mandatory till 1950s. So they may not understand what you're saying, they may have intellectual problems and stuff like that. So for me, the reason we're drawn to these places is for that, to pass these spirits over, to be able to help them. They want us there to help them, they want us there to guide them. It is the one thing I will say in the Conjuring movies, in some sense, I'm trying to think which one it was, right, the Enfield house, where the spirit was actually calling them for help because it was being controlled by another spirit. This is honestly, this is the complex of spirituality that people don't realize, the paranormal. This is one thing that people don't understand. And the reason why Lorraine Warren, even though she didn't do as much as what she did in the film, but it was actually another medium, so I'm told, I don't know 100%, but that's what I'm told. Um, this is one of the reasons why they were called to this house. They could feel the call into it because they they want to be passed over. Bill Wilkins wanted to be passed over. He wanted to go into the light. The problem is, unless you can contact them properly and speak to them, no one was there to help him. And that is why I do struggle. I am with Chris. Chris McKinley, is it? Lorraine Warren's grandson. I do actually agree with him on paranormal tourism, that it shouldn't be a thing, even though I pay into it and stuff for YouTube. And I will admit that I'm a bit hypocritical there. It shouldn't be a thing unless you know what you're doing. Because, and we should be allowed to pass over when we go to them. We sign these waivers saying we can't pass over these spirits. But when there's people like me and yourself, Tiffany, going there and we can feel they want to go into the light, I don't agree with that. I think we should be allowed to. We should be allowed to pass that spirit on. What gives us the right to hold that spirit here as a hostage? And it's especially the children ones. I'm like, you know, I'm a bit weird when it comes to all that.
No, I've never really thought of it that way. But I mean, you hit a very valid point, especially kids. Kids always are my soft spot, and it breaks my heart every time, you hear of, well, anything involving children breaks my heart, really. Whether that's in the present living time or the afterlife. I don't like hearing the negative things that happen to children.
And I think this is one of the things as well. Before, we need to remember that before the 1950s, we had World War II, and that made people realize how important children were because we'd lost most of our men. We'd lost half of the world, to be honest. Let's be honest, we lost most of the world. Um, so they realized how important children were, and all of a sudden they put these steps in place. The UK put in protection laws for animals before they did children, believe it or not. And this is the thing that I think is a shocking revolution when we actually think about the fact that most of what our care for children has actually mainly recent history, from the 50s, which was only 70 some odd years ago.
Mhm.
So when we think about that, that for thousands and thousands of years, children have been treated like crap, like normal adults like crap. Um, and things like autism and stuff, children were locked away and stuff like that. They were hidden away. They had to be perfect children. Even the Queen had her own cousins locked away. Well, actually, not physically her, but family related to them had her own cousins locked away because they didn't look perfect and they were intellectual, and I think they had intellect problems. And I think this is a problem that we don't think about when we go to these places, that these poor children's souls may just not know how to pass forward. I did a mistake, and you guys can watch it at Priest Cottage, where I thought I'd play a game like I would my kids. If I tell my kids not to do something, they're going to bloody do it. They're kids. So I said to him, "Don't you knock them bricks over," because we'd witnessed earlier in the day him knocking the bricks over. My husband got very excited about it. And he didn't knock the bricks over. And later on, we caught, when we were asking when we were using the dead bell, um, dead bell does have a timer on it, but it's not quite, we sort of recognise which ones weren't timer and which ones were. And basically, as I was talking to him, they said, Michelle said, "Don't knock over the bricks because Amy won't be happy." And it rung the bell for a yes. And I literally went, "I've done a mistake. Now, if there's someone they respected and they wanted the attention of, they wouldn't want to upset them." So if you think about it, a child from the 1800s, the first thing it's going to do if it did something it's been told not to is have a beating. So it didn't want to do what I said because then it thought I would punish it. So then I had to spend a whole evening talking to it, talking to the little man, and explaining that I wasn't going to punish him, that it's okay what he's done. It's okay if he knocks over the bricks. So I had to have a whole evening discussing that with him, that it was fully okay. And I think this is one of the things for me, like, he doesn't know what the white light is. He doesn't know what love is. We got that through a lot. So I was like, he would take a couple of weeks to be able to even pass over to understand what love is. Because they've got, when you feel the white light, it's love. And that is what it is. And so it'd be a very, very difficult situation. Very, very difficult situation to be able to do. And I think for me, this is one of the things that I do struggle with, because all I want to do is sit there and pass that little man into the light and say, it's okay, go on, go. You'll be safe, and show him the love he never knew why he was here. Um, yeah, I'm a bit sad, aren't I?
No, no, that's very noble. And I think that there needs to be a lot of people that have that heart back into stuff like this. I mean, that's
Trouble is,
important.
moneymaker.
Yeah,
That's the problem. It's even the church charges for an exorcism now.
that's fair.
So it's like the spiritual world has come a massive money maker. That's one of the reasons, but I do struggle with it a little bit, because it shouldn't be as big a money maker as what it is. I can use Logan Paul as an example, but I won't actually. We'll cut that out. I'll be behaved.
Okay.
Not my podcast. I'll be behaved.
No, you're fine. There's really not many things that I don't allow. Just be respectful. That's all I care about. And even then, it's
Well, I just think it's a massive money maker, and especially with YouTube now, it's just the paranormal's trending absolutely
Mhm.
massively. I was about to say it reminds me of the late 1800s. I wasn't even alive then. But it's a bit like that era where it was massively trending. So you had a lot of frauds getting into it, a lot of people doing it for the sake of doing it, etc. And I think this is one of the things that, for me, does affect it all. Does affect it all. I'm very opinionated, aren't I?
Hey, that's okay. Absolutely. So am I. I've behaved myself quite well. I'm actually impressed. But
Yeah, I'm sort of like, I'm sort of like, I think it's for the years and years of lessons. And a lot of people say to me, oh, I don't know who Empress Sparkle is. Most people know me by my real name. I don't put my real name out of there out of respect to my children, my special educational need children. And that's why I don't put my real name out there. And for me, it's sort of like people don't realize then how long I've actually been in the spiritual world, and paranormal world. Sorry, I mix them together because there is a very thin line in between them. And I think this is one of the things. It's not until I start talking about I become a witch in 1999, and stuff like that. And then people are like, oh, actually, hold on, you're giving us exact years. Whoa. And they sort of then suddenly go, 1999. That's like nearly 40. I'm making myself feel old now because that's nearly 30 years ago. That's made me feel
you were,
really old.
let's see, how old was I? You're not much older than me.
Are
You're
you
less
sure?
than 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are you sure? You
You
look
were how
early
old?
20s.
How old do you think I look?
Early 20s.
Oh, bless you. I'm in my early 30s.
Oh, okay, okay.
I thought you were about my age, a little younger actually.
I'm 40. I will admit that I am 40, even with the crazy hair.
See, that's
As
about what I thought. You're 7 years older than me.
okay. Oh, so you would have been 7 years old then when I
Hmm.
started witchcraft. But I think we're all witches. I want to say that, guys. We're all witches. We all can do magic, even manifesting. If you wish for something, you're manifesting. I want
You
to
just
say
have to believe it's already yours.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Oh, I like that. I like that, my lovely. I love that. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to
I
hold on in.
No, you're fine. I would love to talk to you again. I think this was like really super fun. I don't want to make it too take up too much of your time and because I could make this go on for hours. um
I wish I could. It is 11:15 here, so I am a bit like, I'm a bit
no,
like,
no, no. I trust and believe. I understand. I don't want to hold you up any longer, but I really truly so much appreciate the time that you gave me today and everything that you've done for me.
you are more than welcome. That is what we're here with the gifts when people are in situations where they need the help and the guidance. We're here. Yes, okay, we charge with some people and stuff like that, but we have to make a living. But in some ways, my main thing is to guide people to understand where they need to go, to understand the paranormal world, to understand that not everything's paranormal, but everything is spiritual. So it's sort of understanding all of this type of thing. That is my aim, my goal to what I'm doing. Um, and hopefully I have done a little bit on this podcast.
Are you kidding me? If you haven't touched anybody else, you definitely touched me. That's all that matters. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
It's a whole
true,
touchy situation.
truly, honestly, like you are, yes, you will help people, and I know that for a fact. On this podcast episode, and like I said, you helped me, and I have so many people that come to me and they want guidance and help, and I'm doing my best, but man, I'm still learning myself sometimes. So this definitely shoved me in a direction that I feel I needed to be shoved in a very, very positive way. And I thank you.
You're more than welcome. Honestly, more than welcome. And I think that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to guide people. I'm here to teach, and that's what I love to do. And do I have the answers for everything? No, I blinking don't. Am I learning along with you guys with some things? Yes, I do. But that's what makes the best teachers. Well, we're still
Mhm.
learning along with whoever we're teaching.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. So, real quick, how can everybody find you?
So I am Empress Sparkle everywhere. So that is what I am. I'm on YouTube. I have two different channels on YouTube, which is my paranormal investigations as well as my spiritual channel. And then I also Facebook. I'm always over on Facebook annoying Tiffany on her posts.
No, I love it. Oh gosh, your energy is so incredible. I love it. So again, thank you so much. I literally would love to have you on again. It would be great to have you come back. If you're interested, of course.
Energy
And
as well. You are such a lovely person. You've such a white
well,
light, like you are lovely.
thank you.
You're
I
as bad
appreciate
at
that.
taking compliments.
Oh, oh, no, thank you. I so appreciate that. Yeah, so we'll definitely be in touch. I'm gonna send you a crap ton of things if you don't mind, because I think you're just as interested, especially about what we talked about before we recorded. And
Yes.
I think there's some connections there that we can make. So other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your night. And this has been absolutely incredible.
No, thank you, lovely. Honestly, I cannot thank you enough for Tiffany for having me. And thank you guys for watching. And I will be over being nosy at the comments to see what everyone's down there.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well,
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you later. Bye. As I wrap up my time with you today, I hope the ideas I've shared here on Beyond Logic with Tiffany have provided a fresh perspective, challenging you to think a little differently about the world. Before you go, I have a request. I'd love for you to share this episode with one friend, colleague, or family member who you think needs to hear this specific conversation. Spreading the word is the best way to help the Beyond Logic community grow. To stay connected with everything I do and get continuous content throughout the week, make sure you follow me on all my platforms. Facebook is where my community gathers. Join the conversation, share your thoughts on the episode, and get exclusive behind-the-scenes content and Q&As. If you're on YouTube, head over to my channel to watch the full video version of this podcast and check out extended interviews and deep dives. For short, impactful, and shareable clips, follow me on TikTok. You can find all 3 platforms easily by searching for Beyond Logic with Tiffany. Until next time, keep questioning the narrative, keep exploring the possibilities, and stay beyond logic.